What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Oscar's Cozy Corner. So it has been a few days since the release of the Wishblossom Ranch DLC trailer for Disney Dreamlight Valley, and lots of us have been speculating. We've been going through that trailer with a fine-tooth comb to see if we can pick out any new or exciting possible discoveries into what could be coming with that expansion pass. I did do a video a couple of days ago breaking down everything that we know so far from the trailer, from articles, from interviews. You can watch that somewhere up here if you would like to take a look. But I spotted a Reddit post over the weekend which actually might add some credence and some more weight to the idea that we might be getting an entire 100-acre wood themed biome, obviously based on Winnie the Pooh. So here is the post from Asgardian Greg, and Asgardian Greg says, another Pooh item besides the honeypots in the trailer, and then they've added an image, and we can see that they're pointing out that one of the trees down here in the background of the trailer is actually one of the premium shop items that we got recently, which is actually the entrance to the adventures of Winnie the Pooh. So this is a premium shop item. It is a Winnie the Pooh themed item. So they say in the trailer, they placed the Winnie the Pooh tree from the premium shop in the background. You can see the little lantern slash honeypot on it. This leads me to believe that the honeypot area will not be like Teapot Falls. And out of all the trees to use, why place the Pooh premium shop tree at all if the area they placed it in isn't the 100-acre wood? This is why I believe we will get one character from the Pooh franchise with this DLC, then a realm next year that gives us two more. First up, I do just want to say this is an excellent spot. This is not something that I saw when I did my run-throughs of the trailer. So Asgardian Greg, great spotting of this item. I don't think I would have even picked it out had you not noticed it, but it is certainly that premium shop Pooh tree. What I'm going to do is we'll open the image slightly bigger, full screen, so you can take a better look at it, and we'll see what we can see. So these honeypot falls have been covered pretty extensively. I mean, they were found on the day that the trailer came out. So I am excited to see what this turns out to be. I know that this is what kind of triggered the concept that 100-acre wood, or maybe even some of the Winnie the Pooh characters, might be coming to this DLC, but it is certainly a large point of interest, and it does appear to be very big. So I think when the player is near it, this is going to end up being a pretty substantial weenie, if you will. We can see here that there is an arrow pointing to this tree, and actually it's pretty much bang on in the silhouette of the one that we got in the premium shop, The Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. This is a ride entrance that they've brought to the game. Obviously not an attraction in the game, but it is a decorative piece, and I believe a balloon comes out of this kind of like little hole in the trunk here. But as you can see, the silhouette is pretty bang on. It's even got this little branch up on the right and this branch right in the middle in exactly the same place. So I would hazard a bet that Gameloft placed this down at exactly that sort of aspect in the trailer. And of course, as pointed out, there is a little lantern here dangling off there. So I can see Asgardian Greg's point. It does seem to be quite a distance away from those honeypot falls that we have a look at in another scene. And if I bring myself over this side, you can see the distance pretty clearly here, and I understand the point of saying, well, if these are not one biome, if this is not just kind of like one space, these are pretty far apart. So it could be that the entire biome, sort of like the Glittering Dunes, sort of like Ever After, it could be that that is an entire Pooh-themed biome rather than just a Teapot Falls one with the checkerboard floor, with the actual kind of like Teapot Falls fountain that was obviously Alice referenced. Now, I do think that if there is an aspect of that, this could end up being a teaser for a realm next year. So it is possible. We did get Alice follow on from the Storybook Vale update, which obviously brought us that Teapot Falls area, and then we got a full biome based on that franchise a couple of months later. If that is the case with this DLC, we could see one specific area of this biome or this overarching biome theme that could be some sort of forest, have a Pooh Bear area in it. I don't know what they would call it. Maybe they will go ahead and call it 100-acre woods, but we could see that then translate into some sort of bigger realm with Pooh Bear himself coming to the base game for free next year. And it is a possibility that we do get one of the other supporting characters. We could see Eeyore, we could see Piglet, Tigger. I don't know. It could be any of them, but I do kind of feel like Pooh might be reserved for the base game. But regardless of which character it is, and we can speculate on that a little bit further, I do think that this definitely does add some credence to the theory that we will be getting an entire Pooh-themed biome, or at least a very heavily Pooh-themed or Pooh-inspired biome. Now, it is worth noting that with the Alice stuff, they were not direct references to the movie as far as I'm aware. I don't think they were like one-for-one lifts from the movie, whereas this is definitely quite obviously referencing Pooh in some capacity. It's a parks reference for the tree itself. The honey pot, we do already have Pooh items that are themed to that as well. So I would expect in some ways for this biome maybe to be similar to the Bind in how a lot of the furniture had books on it because that was the theme of that specific biome. I could see this Pooh Bear area or this 100-acre wood area having a lot of honey pots integrated maybe into the trees, into the decor, into the landscape, if that's what they end up doing. Very exciting regardless, so we'll just have to wait and see in the showcase. Of course, this is all just speculation. As is always the case, nothing is confirmed until it is confirmed, so take it all with a little pinch of salt. But as Guardian Greg, that is a pretty substantial spot, and I thank you for finding it. Now, I just wanted to quickly touch on the back of that on something that I have seen come up a couple of times, and that is the censorship of Winnie the Pooh in China and whether that would affect Gameloft's decision to put Pooh Bear in the game whatsoever. Now, I don't think that it will have a huge impact. I will admit that I am pretty out of my depth on political and foreign affairs in terms of censorship and media. However, as far as I'm aware, at the moment, Dreamlight Valley is not sold in China. It is sold in simplified Chinese, but I don't believe that it's sold in mainland China. I will, of course, be happily corrected on this. I'm just taking this information from SteamDB, which looks at all of the games on Steam. It tracks the information, tracks changes, all of that sort of thing. If we look at the pricing for Disney Dreamlight Valley and we scroll down to the bottom, you can see down here that the only kind of like areas on this list that do not have a price, meaning it's not sold in that region, is Russia, Vietnam, and China. So China has never had a price, Russia has never had a price, whereas Vietnam did at one point have a price. I'm happy to be corrected in the comments by perhaps somebody who lives in China and can tell me differently. But as far as I'm aware, on Steam, the game is not even currently sold in China. So whether that actual impact of bringing Pooh to the game makes a difference on Gameloft's decision, I don't know. I don't even know the extent of that censorship. There are actually Pooh elements in the Disney parks in Shanghai in China. So there is meet and greets with Pooh Bear, there is a ride, there is all sorts of Pooh references. So as far as that censorship goes, I'm not 100% sure that it will impact the game and Gameloft's decision. And if it's not even sold in China, I don't think that that will come into play. But it is something that I see get mentioned sometimes in the comments when talking about Winnie the Pooh. So I thought I would just bring it up just to spark some conversation or be corrected. All right, gang, that is it for this video. As I said at the top, I did just want to share that information with you. I know that I'm a little bit late to the party with this particular post, but thank you again, as Guardian Greg, for spotting that. Thank you for giving us a bit more fuel on the fire as to whether we could get an entire Pooh Bear themed biome. It does seem as though that could be the case. All will be revealed on October 15th. Fingers crossed that all will be revealed. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to give it a like, maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more Disney Dreamlight Valley content. I am going to leave it there for today. I will catch you in the next one, and I will, of course, see you in the valley.